Hi, Tari.
Hey Claire, how are you?
Yeah, I'm
How's been your
fine.
week?
Oh, it's been a long week, but here
Hmm.
we are.
Here we are. Yes, yes. So what's trending? What's trending? I saw that TikTok you shared with me, and I was just going through the videos and was like, "Ooh." So where do we call home as diasporans? Like I was looking at is it Ifunanya? Sorry for butchering your name.
Every father wants an Ifunanya. Every father wants a girl child like Ifunanya. Oh my gosh.
Who stands
She has
behind
lots
a
of
father? Like
skill.
no matter
Ah,
what.
yeah, but yes. That's a very good question. Where is home? Yo, because the way she was treated, the way he was treated, um, when he went back home,
It was so bad.
it was so bad. Going back to the diaspora was the only way he could survive. And you find that even with some of our relatives, they might go back home, wherever home is, but if they start having any physical health issues, they usually go back to their diaspora country, their host country.
Mm,
I don't know. So, Tari, is home South Africa? Zimbabwe? Where is home for you?
yes.
Where is home for you?
Ish, you you know this one is really a difficult one because now I'm imagining like maybe I'm going to stay here in South Africa maybe for the next 25 years to 30 years, right? And
I'm working
and
there.
as we were talking about last week is that I think the other week we were talking about like okay, mbudzi furira pauri, like where I am, that's where I need to be investing in, right?
Yes,
So let's say
yes,
I'm
yes.
investing everything here in South Africa. At what point do I call back? Like, okay, when I'm retiring, I'm going back home to Zimbabwe. I think that's a really tricky one, and I think maybe it's not really like a one set stone. Maybe it depends with people's preferences. But there are other people, as we said last time, there are other people who are really investing back home, but they want to go back home. But when it comes to those issues, like maybe you get sick and all that, will home be able to cater for all that?
So maybe can we then maybe bring it back to home is your children, your wife?
Mhm.
Can we bring it back to that? Because uh looking at this, I will call them what they are. Looking at these greedy relatives, Ifunanya's uncles and auntie, looking at those greedy relatives, right? It ended up being his children and ex-wife who stood up for him,
For
who were
him.
there for
Mm.
him, um, who were there representing his best interests. So maybe we should bring it up at bring it back to if you're in the diaspora with your children who have grown up in the diaspora as well. Maybe that's your home. I'm not sure. Maybe that's what where home will be for you. That's love that you're getting. I think most people go back to Zimbabwe for the nostalgia and
Mm, mm.
and most likely maybe from it being a long-term goal of theirs. But the
Yes,
love,
yes.
the love back home is not there because you have left your family.
When your immediate family is not there, like
Yes,
in this
immediate
case,
family
like
in the
he
host
left all
country.
his kids back in the States and he went to Nigeria. So it was only him. It was
Yes, just
only him and maybe his siblings he had left there in Nigeria and all that. So which means at the end of the day, I think I agree with what she's saying. That I think home is where your children, your like where your immediate family circle is in. Like now we are married. My immediate family circle is my husband and my kids. Those are the immediate people I call. I go like these are my people. This is my home. So I think maybe when you said that you are going home and leaving your kids far away, I don't really think maybe that's home. But as I was looking in this story, I was also like, I think also the generation, because if you look at Ifunya's father, it's more like our
yeah.
father's generation. So with our father's generation, I think it can be a different way, with different perspective, with the way we take it or with the way we look at it. Because with them they'll be like, you know what, I was born in Zimbabwe and like all my other relatives, they're still back in Zim. So for them it makes sense to call home be home. Like I've worked for 25 years, let me go back home and now live my life the way I wanted to live.
Yeah,
And
oh,
speaking Shona,
look
hey,
at
in these
Shona.
countries we are tired of
And I
speaking
think
English.
also because if you follow the Ifunanya's story, she mentioned that her father was receiving 5,000 USD in pension, right? So there is that fact, Kuti, back in Nigeria, that's a lot of money. And most likely he was
No,
thinking
it's
he
a lot of
doesn't want
money.
to be a burden. He does not want to be a burden in America to anyone, most likely thinking of his children, and then taking that leap of faith to go back to Nigeria and telling himself in his mind that he is not going to be a burden to anyone because he will be having money coming through from America, which is about 5,000.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
so I don't think it's always, we cannot always predict how things are going to end. We cannot always tell how things are going to be for us when we retire, and it's really difficult. Oh gosh, and also the other issue, the power of
When you
attorney.
try, yes, yes. But looking at that part of the amount he was receiving, I think financial wise the decision made sense, because remember in the States 5,000 was not going to be enough, like to pay rent and all that, because we know that the cost of living is a bit higher compared to
Yeah,
Nigeria. So I think in that sense, I think when he made his decision in that financial sense, it made really much sense, so that you don't end up perpetuating black tax. Then
yeah,
okay, when you go back home, $5,000, it's a lot of money, unlike when you're in the States, because the cost of
yeah,
living is different. So I think there that point made sense. And with me, one thing which made me sad when I was watching that video, like was when she mentioned that it was 6 months down the line where she couldn't get hold of his father. And when he was calling the aunt and the uncle, they were just giving excuses and all that. And every month she was sending money, and he was also receiving his 5,000. And these relatives were like, like for me, it was just the level of cruelty. Like, I don't know if it's
he
entitlement
did,
or what,
he
but
did not
for me, I
look
was
like
just like,
someone
this is
was
too much.
getting a single dollar. He did not look like someone who
Mm.
was getting a single dollar. So I think, looking at it in a different way, in a way where our fathers' generations who want to go back to Zimbabwe, maybe if we are in charge, or if we are actively responsible for the people who care for them. So, you know what happened with the influx of nurse aid courses and things like that? There are now nurse aid companies in Zimbabwe. So if you say if Nanya was in Zimbabwe, she could contact one of those nurse aid companies and request a nurse aid
Mm.
for her father, and that would still be enough out of the 5,000 that he was getting. All right, and also,
But now the problem, is that she also didn't know that the father was sick, because no one communicated that. Because I think for them, they just looked in that greedy side that, okay, the money this man is getting every month is a lot of money, so let's just keep quiet and chow the money in silence, which
no,
was
it's
very cruel.
intergreed relatives, intergreed.
Mm.
So looking at this, and it's easy to blame the greedy relatives, yes, but Ifunaya's father gave power of attorney to one of his brothers. So he is
Mm.
the one who
Mm.
opened that door of greedy
Mm.
relatives. Why did he not make his daughter the power of attorney? Why didn't he give
Mm.
daughter that power of attorney
But she's
over?
old, like she's
Yes,
older enough to be a
she's
power of
old enough.
attorney.
Yes.
Mm.
So
So
there's
with that
also
one, I
that
think.
aspect. Are we inviting these people? Are we opening the door for abuse? Are we opening the door and the abusers are walking in because we have opened the door? Because I don't think there were boundaries in place.
Mm.
He
So
opened
where
the
do we
door.
draw the line? Where do we draw the line? Like, let's say maybe we now, if our kids are now adults, and
Uh-huh.
we now need to like put beneficiaries and all that. We need, like, I know that maybe I'm going home. Whom should I give the power of attorney? Should I give it to my sibling because we were born in the with the same mother, same father, or should where
And
do we draw the line on that?
hold that thought. I'll give you something time.
So this story really got me thinking, like,
So
hey,
what
we
did
need to
we
be
say?
very
Who did we
careful. Oh,
say this
financial
book
planning
was
board,
for?
yes.
Yeah. Who did we say this book was for?
Our children and our children's children's.
Right. So that my money, which is my pension and my whatever, social security or whatever, who is the rightful person to chop that money, whether wisely or
Our children,
unwisely?
obviously, because we are working so hard for them, to be honest. Like
Because I
waking
read
up,
the
doing all
video
the shift work. We're doing it for our kids.
for our kids. Because there's a video, or is it an audio, where the uncle then says Ifunanya is pretending as if she loves her father. All she wants
Haimo.
is his money. But who is
We
the
thought
right
what she did to
person
go to
to chop
Nigeria and get her
money?
father back to states.
So if we are saying the books that we are writing are for our children, their legacy, so why is the money that I'm making supposed to be chopped by everyone?
Mm. By everyone, not my kids.
So I
So
think
I
that
think with
one,
that one,
that one, as long as
mm,
yeah, as long as this your mouth utters to say "Ndiri kushandira vana vangu,"
mm,
it's simple. It's a simple debate. If this your mouth says, I left Zimbabwe to look for greener pastures for
for my
my
children.
children, it then translates to time comes, if the time comes, that money is there, that 5,000 is there, the rightful person to unwisely is your
Is those
child.
children. Mm.
Yes. And how do you make sure that those children chop it wisely? Bring them to Terry and Clay. We'll tell them
Yes,
and we'll
financial
teach
literacy
them how
classes.
to.
We teach the
Yes.
kids.
If
We teach the
they're
kids too.
financially literate, if they're financially literate as a parent, you will not be worried about leaving them money. You will not be worried about letting them control your finances because you know that um, you taught them
You have
well.
trained
They have
them.
values.
They know the
Yes,
basics of financial literacy. They know how they need to manage money. So with this one, Claire, I think my homework after this conversation is just to go and look at all my all my documents, my will, my provident fund, everything, just to see like, hey, are my kids there as part of the beneficiaries? Who is there
are
on
they
the
going to
beneficiaries?
are
And
they
the
going to
percentage
chop
ratios.
money?
I need to revisit those percentage ratios.
Yes, I think this story really spoke to us. There was a part that spoke to us as daughters, the things that
Mm,
for our fathers, the love that we have for our fathers, but also we are our future fathers. This will be
true.
us. This will be us in the next few decades. This will be us,
Yes.
and our children will be Ufunaya.
Mm,
So we really have to be future planning as well. This is the reality. It is coming. And I think we are
yes.
much
Yes.
wiser now. Back in the day when we were younger, when we were teenagers, it was hard for us to see ourselves as 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, because it was it was not something that we would think of. It was, oh, vanhu vakuru, those old people.
Yes, it'll just be like,
But now, with
I'll stress about it when I get there.
But now, with time and age and wisdom, we know we are going to get there. As long as we are alive, God willing, we are going to be Ifunyanya's dead at some
Yes.
point. So we have to be wise enough to prepare for it.
Yes, yes. And what I'm also thinking, like, in as much as we are preparing for it, I think we must also prepare our kids for it as well. Like, you know what, in as much like in life, these things can happen. Like people can change, people can do this, people can be greedy. I think it's something we need to prepare our kids so that it doesn't come as a surprise or as a shock. Like, why is this person treating me like this? Yet I thought maybe they were close to my parent or what. So I think it's also those conversations we need to start opening up with them, and just to open their minds that people can change, things can change, and but life needs to move on.
Life needs to move on. Terry, I think that's all that we had for today, isn't it? Do we have anything else we want to talk about? No?
No, no, not on this one. Let's not spoil this one because Mina,
Not,
I've
not,
already
not.
took notes and I need to do my homework.
Okay, fine. Now go do that. Go update that will.
Yes, yes. Cool. Thank you so
All
much,
right,
Clay.
thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.